welcome to Unrehearsed, Hatboro's premier community theater talk show. I'm your host, Ashley, and I also happen to be the vice president on the board here at the Village Players of Hatboro, which is our local community theater. On today's segment, we are going to talk to the entire cast and crew of VPH's October production and its 72nd season opener, 12 Angry Jurors. Now, obviously, that's a lot of people, so we're going to be splitting our segment into 5 separate videos. So be sure to be on the lookout over the next couple of weeks for all the shenanigans to follow. We're gonna head inside and see who's gonna be our first victims. Come on. And today at the Village Players of Hatboro, we're gonna be talking to Tom and Leah of 12 Angry Jurors. Tom and Leah, say hi.
Hello. Hi.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourselves?
My name is Leah O'Hara, and I'm playing juror number 8. She's the protagonist of the show, the one who decides to stand up for the boy who's on trial and wants to discuss the case instead of just automatically sending him off to his death.
And a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yes. I'm a Philadelphia area actress. I spent a little bit of time taking a break to take care of my kids, but now I'm back, now that they can take care of themselves. And it's great to be back on stage.
And Tom?
Hi, my name is Tom Libonate. I am playing juror number 3. He's the antagonist, basically a frustrated, angry man who really wants to see this kid who's on trial found guilty for his own personal reasons. As far as my career, if you can call it that, I just moved down from Connecticut about 4 months ago, and I was looking to do theater regionally here, and I Googled local theaters, and I saw Village Players of Hatboro was doing 12 Angry Jurors, and I loved the film, 12 Angry Men, and I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. So there we are.
So we're going to take you on a mini tour of the theater, and then we're going to get right into our interview, so come on, follow us. All right, guys, how are we feeling?
Great.
Good, yeah, I'm fantastic. So I know that you're both new to the Village Players of Hatboro. Can you tell me how you even found our little theater? Whoever wants to go first.
I would have to, as an actor, you're always looking for your next job, your next role, your next audition, and I was going online and looking for different theaters, and I wanted to try and do something that was a little closer to home, and I saw that Village Players was doing 12 Jurors, and it's a movie that I saw that my dad introduced me to, and I thought, oh, that'd be great to get that part and to be able to have my dad come and see me in this show. And so I decided I was going to go audition, and I told my friend Tim that I was in the current show with about it, and he was like, oh yeah, that's my theater. And I went, oh, fantastic.
Perfect. Yes, I'm going right there.
Yes.
Awesome, I like it. What about you, Tom?
Well, I recently relocated from Connecticut about 4 months ago, and I knew I wanted to do community theater in the area, so I just went to Google, and I Googled up local theaters, and I found that Village Players of Hatboro was doing 12 Angry Jurors. Mm-hmm. Love the, like as Leah said, love the script, so I said, I'll give it a shot. Hopefully it'll work out.
And there you go.
And
you got
yeah,
it.
Thank God it did.
Serendipity. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So if you could describe your character in one word, what would that word be? And why would you choose that word?
I would say frustrated, because that's, basically where his angst comes from. It begins with frustration. It kind of builds into, anger, as a lot of the jurors are angry. But also, in all seriousness, and then eventually moments of rage, bits of sadism, running through him. But it all kind of begins with the frustration of his character. So I would say that's the word.
Solid word. Okay. What about you, Leah?
I would say iron. She's someone that you're not going to bend, you're not going to break. She just really has a very strong core, and the more heat you add to her, the more heat you put against her, the brighter she glows, the more she shines.
It's really good.
I can second that. I can confirm that 100%.
I like it. So, Leah, you had mentioned that the original film was one of your favorites, and it is a classic. But what actor or actress could you guys see playing your respective roles today, and why do you think that you'd like that?
Well, I was thinking about this, and I want to say Meryl Streep or Jennifer Lawrence, and they both, they can bring an intensity to the role, and they both have that more quiet strength where they can stand tall to other people and not get pushed down, but also don't rise to the occasion. So they're much more controlled.
Yeah, they're very, very talented actresses.
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
a
So then it's
big
like,
Jennifer
you know, they would
Lawrence
do better, I think, but
No.
still.
Good choices. What about you, Tom?
Much like what Leah said, it's like, I don't want to sound like arrogant, but Daniel Day-Lewis would be great. I mean, I ain't no Daniel Day-Lewis, but he would be
Don't sell
fantastic.
yourself short.
Well, I'm not him, that's for sure. But kind of what Leah was saying, it's like the same kind of, he's got the, like, he can play all the, the peaks and valleys. He can play the quiet intensity, and he can, God knows, he can play rage. Just see the end of, what is it? There Will Be Blood. I mean, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, he'd be dynamite. So
Excellent.
if we can get him, that
Yeah.
would be-
Somebody got his
Call him
number,
up.
right? Yeah. We don't need you. You're fine.
It's been real.
Without giving anything about the story away, what would you say is your favorite line of dialogue?
There are so many great lines, and so many that I don't want to give away. I would have to say, and it changes as you go through the show, but I would have to say right now, one of my favorite lines is, if you don't sit down and shut your mouth, I'm going to split your skull open. And it's just a very, and its source is so unexpected that I love that line.
There's one that I have, usually I like to know, usually I choose something from someone else, but I just don't know enough lines yet from other actors, so we're working on it. But there's one thing that 3 has where he says, this kid is guilty, he's got to burn, we're letting him slip through our fingers. And the reason I like it is it's so frightening. It's like it embodies the mob mentality and the idea of just acting by emotion and not logic, and what can come of that. And, just this guy's character in terms of, believing that I'm right, doesn't matter what anybody else says. I'm in an echo chamber, and this is how I'm going to mete out justice, no matter how harsh it is.
Right on. That is, oh wow. The whole show is just full of really strong, really resonant language. It'll stay with you, for real.
Yes.
So how has playing your characters affected you personally? Your life.
Well, I can say for myself, again, this guy is frustrated. He's warped. He's a bit sadistic. And again, he's got propensity for real anger and rage. I like to think I'm not that way. So, generally I play a lot of comedic roles, a lot of, I'm a character actor, and that's great. So it's kind of like being able to get in touch with that and bring it out it's a challenge. So it's affected me. I've really been, making people at work angry. I'll be pouring coffee and just what do you want? I don't.
Becoming a method actor.
I'm kidding, but that is like it's affected me by having to get in touch with those emotions and that kind of anger and frustration and fury.
It really grounds the actor into you, though. So it's bringing it home for you. I like
Yeah.
This is, I find myself kind of, because I'm thinking about my lines and I'm thinking about the show and everything, and I'll just find myself like staring off into space with this, this determined like, what the hell, look on my face, and then I'm like, oh, I hope no one was watching that.
I do that all the time. When we're like practicing expressions.
Yes.
Oh wait, no one's looking at me, right?
Oh, I'm in public. The grocery store. That guy down at the end of the aisle is now a little concerned about coming down.
Are you
the aisle.
okay? Do you need help? Very good. And one last question. So, how did you get into acting in general, and what has been your favorite acting experience to date?
Okay. I've been acting since I was 3, doing church musicals and school shows and that sort of thing. And I went to school at the University of Hartford, the Hart School for Opera, and fell into the theater world and fell in love with it. One of my favorite shows that I've ever done was when we did Children's Hour at Lion Theater. And it's such a powerful show, and that character, I fell in love with her, and the intensity of her, and what ends up happening with her was just such a great journey to go through. That was one of my favorites.
Okay, So you really have a proclivity for these very strong, powerful Reginald
Yes.
roles.
And
good.
They tend to. Those are the ones that stay with me. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with farce. I love farce, and it's fun to do and other comedic things. But yeah, the really intense roles are the ones that I really like to dig into.
Keep those for good. That's
Yeah.
good. What about you, Tom?
Well, I didn't step on a stage until I was 30. I never acted until I was 30.
So 2 years ago, right?
Oh, I'm blushing under these lights. You're sweet. No, but seriously, yeah, I was 30 years old, and I just passed a community theater, and I said, I guess I'll audition for the show, and it was a Christmas Carol, and it was a production for children, and yeah, and it was, I had a blast. So after that, I went out for again and again and again community theater shows, had a wonderful time, and then I got lucky. I got cast in a few equity shows. I did, and I know I keep name dropping this, but I did Our Town.
Equity shows.
I did Our Town with Hal Holbrook, and I did To Kill a Mockingbird with Matthew Modine at Hartford Stage, where Leah, the Hart School, is connected to the Hartford Stage. And then I did some other equity shows in different places in Connecticut. So anyway, but my favorite role that I did was at a community theater, and it was 6 years ago. It was called November by David Mamet, and it's his only comedy, like real goofy comedy. But you wouldn't think, but it still has that Mamet edge to it. And I played the President of the United States, who was just a total dim bulb, dimwit. Basically, I didn't have to act. I just kind of played me. Yeah, it just came natural. I saw you wanted to say something. But,
No, I'm not
it's
going
all
there.
right. But it was just, I mean, it was basically a lead role for a character actor. So I had to memorize tons of lines, and it was a cast of just 5, but it was a wonderful cast. It was a wonderful show, great director. And a great script, and it just all conspired to be, a great experience. So it's not going to be what this is going to be. This is just a big bucket of awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
I was going to say, I really hope that this experience is going to be like your next top
I think-
experience,
Yes.
Yeah, I
for
think-
the
right?
future interviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tom and Leah, so much for sitting with
Thanks
us and
for
for
having
talking to us. Yeah, absolutely. This was great. Make sure you come on out to the Village Players of Hatboro to see 12 Angry Jurors. We go up in October.